Hello, everybody. This is Sharonda, and this is my Spreaker studio, Spiritual Sense, as well as my will be on my YouTube channel, the Spiritual Sense, I should say. Um, Today is December the 1st, which is a Wednesday, and this is a part of my daily readings. I do apologize for the lightning. I'm actually recording this from my tablet at this time, and so I'm not able to adjust the lightning. So do bear with me with that. I can probably see what it is that I can do, but I don't want to mess up anything. So okay, so give me just a moment because it looks like I have cut out my video. Okay, give me one moment. Okay, again, thank you for tuning in. This is Sharonda, and this is my YouTube video webinar on my daily readings, tarot card readings. So today I'm going to work with two of my cards, the Psychic Tarot deck and the AE Weight Tarot card deck. All right, just a moment. So let me proceed. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. So I had an impression of a family member, distant family member that has come into place earlier when I was, preparing breakfast. And I feel like this message is in regards to, I'm not quite sure, and let me proceed to take my glasses off. I'm not quite sure. Give me just a moment. Let me turn on some light for some lighting. Okay, so now I'm not quite sure if this family member who has passed on, if it's a message in regards to something that is similar to what happened to her, and this what this reading is going to reveal, or if in fact it's actually a message from her. So let me proceed with doing my reading, and then I will let you know. Okay. So I have the Solitude card. This is what the reading is on. The barrier, I have the crown chakra. The crown chakra, in regards to that. Um, this is what's blocking. This is what the issue is in regards to the crown chakra. Um, Above the situation, I show suffering in silence. Is what I have. Suffering in silence. In regards to um, a blockage or obstacle in regards to the crown. And those who may be out there tuning in or will be tuning in or listening in, the crown chakra has a lot to do with um, the head region, particularly the thoughts. The thoughts. Um, so I feel as though um it's something she's letting me know in regards to um it may not necessarily be the thoughts, although of course the head area has a lot to do with the thoughts. Um, but in regards to this particular relatives passing, from what I was told, it was as a result of trauma to the back of her head. That's what happened with this particular family member. So I don't know if this is applicable to someone in regards to their passing or the situation that she was in prior to her passing. So let's go ahead and get more clarity. I showed the root of the issue. I have a sacrifice card here. Sacrifice card. So she's letting me know that um so this is a personal reading, I feel. And I do feel like this is a question to someone who wanted to know and have validation in regards to her actual passing. Like, did she actually pass as a result of this? Um, as to what I was told, she says she wanted to know that she suffered and she was in pain. She suffered a lot of pain and agony, and not just physical pain, but emotional pain as well. It was a earning and it was a burning pain, like a deep rooted pain. Is what she wanted to be conveyed. That it was a not only pain from she suffered. In other words, she suffered um, in her life experience. She also suffered in her transition. That's what she wants me to, get out. Yes, I suffered in this life experience, and it was hard for me to make that transition because of, the life that I live, so to speak. Um, is what she wanted me to know. She also wanted to be known that, she died as a result of trauma. That is a confirmation. That's not a lie. It's confirmation that she died as a result of trauma. She said she was sick and tired of her situation, and she longed to be out of her situation. Like she antagonized the person that she was with. She antagonized him. She harassed him. She did whatever she could do to perpetuate this what occurred. And as I speak about her situation, somebody else just visited me not visited, but somebody else come into place as to this was applicable to this person's situation as well. And typically when I get these readings, somebody will come to mind. Might not necessarily mean that that person is dead. It could be applicable to that situation, is what I'm getting at. Also, if somebody come into place, meaning somebody that has transition come in, and then I would say, okay, this person has come into place as well. But I feel like this situation is applicable to someone who is alive. But as I mentioned, if it's somebody that is no longer here, then I would say, okay, somebody else has stepped in. And that's what this situation is applicable to. But she says that I longed to be out of my situation. Like, I no longer wanted to be in my situation. I was full of anger and rage and just pain. She said I suffered pain all the time. And she's letting me know that it was something going on in her head. Is what she's letting me know. She said something was going on in my head, is what she says. And so I don't know if she suffered from some type of injury to the head. I do know in her passing it was by way of trauma to the head, but she says to me that it was something medically going on in her head that caused her a lot of pain. And, no one cared. Like, they acted as though, they was concerned. They was not. The only thing they used me for is to um they pretty much used me on display as if I was an exhibit, kind of like a cadaver in a morgue, so to speak. She said it was just like I was a cadaver, is what she is letting me know. Like, they used me as if I was on display, similar to how a lot of the spirits, and I will put this into place as to what I'm speaking about, because God revealed to me that, you know, you know, I understand people are on this vegan, vegetarian type stuff, and I have suffered with, eating of red meat on and off. Like, I'm not a big red meat eater, and I noticed when I began to incorporate those things into my diet, a lot of that stuff, a lot of my mental battles became came as a result of, incorporating more red meat in my diet. Now, I'm not judging anybody for what you choose to, eat in terms of your diet, but this is what I noticed. So I had a revelation as I was getting up this morning, that as they feel, you feel, meaning they, meaning the animals, a lot of animals and things of that nature. And you will begin to understand that a lot of the things that you eat will permeate. That means it will become in your energy force. The energy that was put towards the makings of this meal, you will take on those impressions. You will understand the feelings of those things. And so, um, that may not be apparent to everybody, but this is something that has come into my spirit as I'm sitting here today. Okay. Um, but fast forward back to the main drawing point. So she's letting me know that what happened with her was as a result of something going on in her head. It was something that she was experiencing that was neurological. I don't know, it was, she had seizures, or something that was going on in her head regards to like some type of infection, but it was something brain related. It was something in relation to her head, neurological, that was going on with her, and she suffered tremendously. Something is telling me that it was um, migraines, but I feel like this was worst case scenario migraines. Like, just, it was a gnawing suffering. And she tells me that they simply just was giving me stuff just to see um what my reaction would be to those things, is what she letting me know. Meaning there was no intention of treating me for what I was experiencing. Is what it lets me know. She said I was simply a guinea pig, so to speak. Um, she also says that um, I wanted to move forward. I wanted to move forward. Um, she also mentions that um, I have the sacral chakra that just showed up here as well. Something in regards to the sacral chakra. Um, Give me just a moment. She's letting me know um because I do have my sacral chakra over there, and trust and believe me, I don't remember all of the sacral chakra. I know the sacral area. I want to say it is in relation to the reproductive, as well as your um, uh, spinal, like brain and spinal, as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty much a connection in between the two, with the crown as well as with the sacral, because it has a lot to do with the spine. So I honestly feel like it could have very well been meningitis or something along that lines. I can't say, but somehow they were not able to. They didn't think. She says they didn't think to test me for things such as that because um, they was focused on treating the pain, but that real issue, they were not. They were not. They overlooked the issue. Is what she's saying to me. She said they overlooked the real issue as to what was going on with me. Um, she said that, but my head hurt it all the time. It hurt it all the time to where I stayed sick. Is what she's letting me know. She said I stayed sick, and I stayed sick and tired. She said to even open my mouth hurted me so bad. My head hurt it all the time. Is what she says. Um, Destiny. So I have the attitude. She said this was my destiny. Like this is what I was brought here for. She said I was okay with that. She said because of the suffering that I felt and the agony that I lived, I realized that this was my destiny. Like this is what I was here for. Was to simply, and let me turn this around. Um, was to simply um bring in awareness to the community as to how to treat certain conditions and as such. And I was totally fine with that. I was totally fine with that. Meaning um, my transition, although I suffered, but it was over. That's what she lets me know. Memories of love surrounded by. So she's letting me know that she did feel loved at her service. like with the service that they have, the end of life service or funeral service. She said I felt like the people that were around me cared. They did. I do feel as though they cared and they loved me and they was concerned about me because they seen how I was in agony. They seen how um I constantly was in pain. She said, so I do feel as though when they did have my service, that I was surrounded by people who really cared. Um, Disruption, which is card 9. She's also letting me know that um, it was something that happened at her service that was assigned to those who wanted to know um, if this was something that was done out of malice or if this is something that was warranted, meaning if this is something that I wanted to happen versus being victimized. And she said it was something she did, and this is a distant relative. I was not at her funeral, so therefore I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going off of what presents to me, what the um spirit presents to me. She said that at my service I gave a sign, is what she says. I gave a sign to those around me. I don't know what sign it was, but she said I gave a sign to those around me to let them know that, yes, the person who took my life did take my life. And it appeared as though it was out of malice, but true and honesty, I wanted to be out of my suffering. And he did exactly what I wanted him to do. I wanted to go on. I wanted to transition on, is what I wanted. Is what she says. Because I just wanted to be out of my agony. And he did exactly what I wanted him to do. That's what she said. And it, I did suffer, but then I suffered no longer. That's what she says. But she said I did give a sign to those who was wondering, um, those looking in who was wondering. But those who know me knew that yes, she wanted this. Meaning she wanted to transition over. So who will be the ones that will wonder and question? That will be the ones who don't know. So the signs that I give to those who don't know, who wasn't there, became apparent that yes, indeed, this is what this was. The outcome. Um, so the outcome to this situation is this. She's letting me know. She says, yes, it was under investigation. And the sign that I gave, she says it was somebody that was in law enforcement that wondered, you know, if this actually transpired because of malice or if this actually happened because of something that I wanted. And she said, so that sign was for that person, for him to know that, yes, indeed, this is what she wanted. She wanted to transition over. That's what that was. Does not mean that, he is not guilty of what he did. No. Um, as I sit here and I do these tarot card readings, somebody just stepped in. Somebody who has passed on just stepped in, because I do feel like this situation is applicable to the situation um, that I just mentioned. However, it's in a different context, meaning based on the reports, it's similar, but it's in a different context, so to speak. Um, and I'll leave it at that. So, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Um, she said yes, and this is a continuation. She says yes, this is how things happen. She says this is how we come into agreement. She said that is how the spiritual realm happens, as they said, when three are gathered in my name, meaning when three are in agreement. Um, then that's when those spirits step in. And when I say spirits, in the physical sense as well as in the spiritual sense, meaning the physical sense are being inhabited by those spirits in the of the spiritual. In other words, one um, spiritual force manifests into our space, and they begin to what? They begin to defy the laws, as we know the laws may be, meaning the laws of nature and physics and science. And when it's time to transition, it will open up your eyes. Because I am considered an intuitive or psychic like, I can see into those realms because I have invited those spirits in, meaning I have opened up uh that avenue, if you may. Whereas many people have been shielded and sealed from it because okay, thank you. I had to start my video back over. Okay. So many people have been shielded or sealed from it. Okay. So I have right here, this is what the blockage is, the justice. I feel as though a lot of the justice people that work with justice um I feel as though they try to keep them in the dark about a lot of things to where um they don't know. So they won't have no preconceived notion as to what is going on in regards to a lot of the things that transpire. So they try to keep them not necessarily dumb, but kind of try to seal them from seeing certain things to prevent any outside influences or any prejudice in regards to investigations. I show what's above the situation. We have the King of Swords. So I feel like this is something that, the authority, those in authority are requesting that certain things they don't need to see or be in affiliation with. So she's letting me know that um, what happened, and it looks like I'm only gonna have one video on here. Let me see, because it's saying that I just low space, no limit. So I'll just proceed outside of that, and it'll just be a um, recording versus video. Um, so it's showing me that I have the Five of Swords. She's saying that um, back then people feared. That's what she's letting me know. She says back then a lot of people feared transition. She said now things have changed. Like, you know, people may not want to accept, people may not want to accept the last days. This is why it keeps perpetuating itself, because the desires of people is what continue to allow these things to happen. But if the desires flee from people, then that's when it will all come into place. When the desires of people are in agreement, is what she wants me to put out to people. Meaning, like if you begin to look at certain areas and countries and stuff where it seems like the cities are abandoned or desolate, it's because the desires of the people have become, that has been engulfed, I guess is what I'm trying to say, with spiritual apathy, and it began to die out. Like you would even see it in the trees, the upkeep, the buildings. I mean, everything will begin to fade away, and that's how that transition takes place. This is it. It comes in stages, and she says so. What has happened is, because people are not paying attention, when it begins to sneak up on them, they are not prepared. She said, but if you begin to pay attention and take note of certain things, he warns you way before time, before it happens. That's what she says to me. She said, let them know that this is how I warn people prior to it happening. I do warn people um, in regards to the way it happened and when it happened. I do warn people about these things. Card 6, I have Two of Wands. She also says that you will begin to see things differently prior to it happening. Like he prepares us. He prepares us. That's what she says. We was prepared prior to. Card 4, Page of Pentacles. She says, you would get a sign in your younger youth as to around about the time of when that transition comes. She said you may not necessarily know exactly when, but you will have an idea as to when it does. And you will see how those spirits will turn on you. She said your very mother will turn against you. Your very mother will turn against you. And you will see it. And she said when you begin to listen in on conversations and the words that we speak, like that is not of our dialect, like the English language, you will begin to understand that they use trickery to deceive us, is what that is. I have card 7, the attitude card. She says so that deception is just that. It's a deceiving, deceptive spirit, is what it is. That angel of death, that demonic spirit that looks to kill, steal, and destroy. She says so. Once you begin to understand the lingo as to what they're talking about, it's time to transition. She said you would get everything in a moment's notice. You will be prepared in the spirit, however, but you won't know until you actually have met that transition. Then you will grasp that's what they was talking about the whole time. Card 8. So I have 5 of Cups. She said, so, prior to it, you just want to be alone. You don't want to, songs don't sound the same no more. Food don't taste the same no more. She said things will begin to change. Like, there's no words just can't explain it. Things are no longer as they once were. People in this time and space can say, oh, okay, well, brush your teeth, or perhaps you did that or something. She said, no, 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 no. Even if you do those things, it's going to always be something. Once you just accept it, she said, you've already tested it. Everybody has the capability, unless they have some mental incapacities. Everybody has the capabilities of cause and effect. That means reasoning. Everybody knows how to test the spirits. That's common sense. She said, this is how it happens. Plain and simple. We can sit back and get a scientific explanation to everything. It is what it is. Plain and simple. You can forever dig for something. Card 9, Queen of Pentacles. She says, my mom was afraid for me, is what she says. She said, my mom was gravely afraid for me. Now, I don't know if her mom was living at the time or if she transitioned, but she said, my mom was gravely afraid for me, is what she says. She also says that her mom gave her a sign. She said, I knew through my mom. I don't know if her mother told her something in spirit or if her mom had already passed on, but she said her mom gave her a warning and gave her a sign. And that's how she knew that it was going to be her. She said, that's how I knew. And so as I speak, someone else has joined in on this conversation. So the outcome, we have Page of Cups. Page of Cups. She said they use metaphors and they use covert, subliminal ways of encouraging us to give up. Plain and simple. She said you will know these demons. These demons is only concerned about themselves. She said they will come against you and they will harass you and they will do whatever they can when they don't give a damn about you because they don't care nothing about themselves. And when you begin to make them look foolish and make them look as though their ever existence don't matter, then they will come against you. They will do that. They will do that. She said this is why they exist. They are demonic. And once you have realized how you can survive and the cycles of life, then when enlightenment has shone upon you and you have realized that this is all it's going to be, and you just should have or put up, they would do something to you. They would do something to you. Plain and simple. Because Satan don't like you revealing him or her. He does not. They'll tell you to open your mouth just to turn around and tell you to shut up. Plain and simple. She said, so you know what? The best thing you can do is stay away. She also mentions to me, she said it gave me a personal note. Now check this out. This is going to be really, really strange. And that could very well possibly be why I chose to record half of this on a tablet where most of it is going to be recorded on my Spreaker Studio. She said, even though we never although we never had more than one or two conversations. She said, I had a lot to do with the assisting and will continue to guide you and protect you against any injury, harm, or danger. She said, still come around you. Is what she says to me. She said, I don't know much about you in terms of when I continue to live. She said, but I said and vowed that I'm going to continue to come around this person and oversee her. That's what she mentions to me. So I'm going to close out this episode of Spiritual Sense Podcast. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you are welcome to put them in the comment section. Please don't inappropriate questions, comments, or suggestions. Until then, you have a safe and wonderful day. Good day.